I'm Rob. We're hanging out with you on this Monday, trying to pick up the pieces of what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles season. It has been hideous, that's for sure. All right. So I don't know if you watched the early game yesterday, a couple of the early games, Tone, but one of them was the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Oh, boy. So the Bucs beat the Panthers 9-0 in an absolute thriller, let me tell you. But they end up winning the game nonetheless.
A nail biter.
I mean, I'm paying attention to it because I knew the Eagles may end up getting them, but man, it was a slop fest. Anyway, so they win. The Bucs finished the year 9-8, which is an accomplishment in that, they started off slowly. They lost Tom Brady, after last year, and to their credit, they get into the playoffs. If you remember back in week 3, the Eagles played them, and the Eagles beat them 25-11. In a game where Jalen Hurts had 277 passing yards, a touchdown, did have 2 interceptions. This is actually when DeAndre Swift used to be, get the ball and be really effective. He had 130 rushing yards. A.J. Brown, 9 catches, $131. And the Eagles won the game there on a Monday night. It was an impressive win over the Bucs. But I'm being honest with you, man. Other than just a reference point, I don't know what you really take from it because the Eagles defense is completely different now. The Bucs are a different team than they were then. Like I know there's certain things for them, at least when they're breaking down film tendencies and formations and stuff that you can take from it. But I'm telling you, as a media / fan perspective, there ain't a whole lot to glean off of that one. Quite frankly.
Here's the thing, as bad as the Buccaneers may appear to be, as limited as they appear to be, as shaky as the quarterback position may be, or the defense, whatever you want to nitpick about the Buccaneers, you're totally in the right. But then when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they have no edge. They have no moxie, no mystique. You see, typically when you're going up against a good team, there's a certain part of you. It's like, I mean, they are who they are, man. We'll be lucky to even be competitive in this game, right? The Eagles have lost their edge. They've lost the mystique that they used to have, right? When the 49ers roll into town on the Cowboys, you look at them like, okay, all right, we got to make sure we bring our A game. I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers looking at the Eagles like, hey, you guys, we can actually win this game. We can get to the divisional round. You know what I mean? We're playing with house money here. The Eagles have no swagger, no juice. No, like, again, the word I'm using is mystique, because you ever walk around certain people and they just have an aura about them? It's like you can
they walk into a room and it changes the room.
Yeah, you feel their confidence. You feel their, you feel their swagger. You just feel like just that confidence, right? Yeah. You feel that edge. You got to be on your P's and Q's when you're around them. The Eagles lost all that. So the Buccaneers are going into this game as confident as they could possibly be. The Buccaneers are probably like, oh, my God, this is probably the best matchup we could have ever gotten. Yeah. So I'm not looking at the Buccaneers as a gimmick at all. This Philadelphia Eagles team lost to the Giants. And we're supposed to believe they're going to just flip a switch. Everyone's 0-0 all of a sudden. Well, guess what? They are still who they are. And if everyone's 0-0, they're the worst 0-0 team in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's the thing about the Bucs. You have a team that whatever they are, for whatever shortcomings they have, they finished the season 5-1. That's how they closed out. They knew they had to win. They had a sense of urgency, and they did it. They have a guy in Mayfield who I'm not telling you is a great quarterback. What I'm telling you is he does bring a swag. He does bring a confidence level. Did have a pretty good year. I mean, he threw for over 4,000 yards this year. So he had a good year. They have Mike Evans, who is criminally underrated in terms of how good he is, in terms of how consistent he is. He went over 1,200 yards this year. And you have Rachaad White, who really came on for them as their feature running back. He just missed rushing for 1,000 yards for them this year. Now, he's not running he's only averaging 3.6 yards per carry. But, you're going to have that. You're going to have Chris Godwin. And yeah, Mayfield's a little bit banged up. He played yesterday, but he clearly, I don't know that he's 100%, whatever. It should set up as a win for you because they're not a very good team. But here's one other thing to keep in mind, too, about this game. Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is right there in terms of aggression with Wink Martindale.
Mm-hmm.
Wink Martindale blitzes the second highest frequency of anybody in the NFL. Third in the NFL in terms of blitz frequency is Todd Bowles and his defensive staff. So they are going to be throwing a lot at you. They are, until Jalen and the offense prove otherwise, you're going to get a healthy dose of just all out, stop it till you can every single time. No
Todd Bowles won't throw it. After watching that game, because Todd Bowles is probably salivating right now.
Yes,
probably they're going to throw every blitz package that they have at this quarterback. And watch Nick Sirianni and those guys have no answers. Just watch. This is. I've never been so. I was more excited going into the playoffs when Carson Wentz got knocked out the damn game. I was more excited going into those playoffs.
The Seattle game, yeah. 19.
Yeah.
19
I was more excited for that. This, I really feel like I'm on death row.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Yep.
It's only a matter
and
of
no
time.
last meal. You don't even get a good last meal out of it.
Not even a good last meal, right? If that Giants game was the last meal, man, they just gave me Rob, they gave me a bowl of Cheerios, Rob. What was that,
dry,
man?
with no milk.
Dry, no milk. No milk, man.
And they didn't even let you listen to your favorite song. Sometimes they'll do that too.
They didn't even give me a radio.
They're giving you some kind of just bad, pop music, some kind of garbage. They're just shoving. They're letting you. Who's a William Hung? What was that? What was that song? Oh my God, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my! Are you talking about She Bangs? Like
that's what they're giving you. They're giving you She Bangs and a bad meal. That's what they're giving you.
Giving them Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style, yes. So that's what they're doing to you right now.
This is bad, man.
Yeah,
this is bad. This is all time bad, Rob.
Well, the thing is too, like, if you go back to the beginning of the season, you felt like with the schedule they may lose a couple more games. Okay, I mean that's understandable, and even like let's put it this way, Tone. If they finished 11-6. And it looked different than this, you wouldn't love it, but you could accept it.
Yes. John said something really interesting, right? He said, look, you lose to the Cowboys, you lose to the Niners. Okay, fine. Right? But if this team would have beat the Seahawks, beat the Cardinals, beat the Giants, finished the season off strong, it'd be a totally different energy. People would be fired up. And he's right. Look, losses happen, blowouts happen. It is what it is. But if you would have took care of business and finished the season strong, if you would have finished the season 5-1 instead of finishing it 1-5, is that pretty much what it was? 1-5 in the final 6 games?
Correct. Yes.
If you would have finished it 5-1 rather than 1-5, it's a whole different energy going into the playoffs. People would eat that 49ers game and Cowboys game. Yeah, we would reference it, but people would still feel better about what's going on. People would feel more confident in the coaching, and people feel more confident in the players, and we'll be like, well, listen, anything can happen in the playoffs. Now it seems like we know what's going to happen in the playoffs, and Eagles are going to lose, and they're going to lose convincingly.
Yeah,
the Buccaneers are better than the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
The Buccaneers are better than the Cardinals.
Yeah,
the Buccaneers are better than the Seahawks, and we're supposed to believe the Eagles are going there and just say, you know what? It's playoff time now, you guys. Let's put on our Superman capes. Let's take off the the puppy mask and put on the bulldog mask.
We're taking the glasses off and the tie, and we're going in an old school phone booth, and we're going to come out with the S on our chest. Like I just think people are, if you're believing that, it's because you choose to believe it, and that's fine. But I think there's a high level of denial there to think this team can just flip a switch, because what we've seen over the last. All right, I'm going to look at the schedule here. Mm-hmm. And you tell me when the last time they played what you would consider a good game. Okay, so I'm going to work backwards.
Okay.
The obvious thing is we're not going to pick the last 2 weeks. They lost to the Giants, lost to the Cardinals. The week before that on Christmas, they won 33-25 over with Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor Giants. Lost to Seattle, lost to Dallas, lost to San Fran. We go back to November 26th. Where they won 37-34 over the Bills. Would you say that's the last good game that they played?
The first half was very, very bad,
It
but that
was.
was I'll put it this way, right? That was the last game I had hope.
All right, the
That was
week before they
yeah.
beat the Chiefs, but they were down 10 at the half. I don't even know if I'd say that. I would say the last good game they probably played was October 22nd against Miami, where they won 31-17. So
You talking about as a full team?
yeah,
Yeah, like the most complete game they've had. If you're working backwards, the first game you come across from a complete performance is the Dolphins.
okay, that's 2.5 months ago. I mean, that's how long ago that was. That they played a really, what you would say, complete game. Now,
That was
you
week
could
7.
argue if you beat the Bills or you beat the Chiefs, that's a good one. That's fine. That's fine if you
Right.
want to argue that.
No, but like here's the thing. To your point, right? The last game or the most recent game where they've looked complete or looked like an actual team was the Dolphins. The
Right.
last game where I had hope was the Bills because
Yeah.
of the magic they had and the way they came back in those elements and the circumstances. You know, that to me, I was like, whoa, Jalen Hurts has catapulted himself to another category with that win.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went down a lonely, dark road with the 49ers. And man, the 49ers came to the link in the black Air Force Ones. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, Rob, with what the black Air Force Ones mean. But if somebody show up to the function in black Air Force Ones, grab your kids and go home. I'm telling you,
Get
Rob.
the pets, get the kids, get everybody out of there.
If you see somebody pull up to the function in black Air Force Ones in a Dickie suit,
There's a problem.
It's time for you to go home. Grab your
Yep.
kids, pack your to-go plate. Just tell tell everybody you'll see them at the next one.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, Rob.
I got you.
Keep that in your back pocket, all right?
It's
Avoid
in the
black
vault.
Air Force Ones at all costs.
Yeah, it's in the vault. No, I think you're right. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That Niners game broke them. It broke them. They didn't come back from that. That was a beatdown of epic proportion. And they did not come back from it. It shook them to their core. It shook their confidence. It shook their culture. And ever since then, they've been like a standing 8 count. Like they're up. They're standing up, but they're just kind of like, woo.
Hey, Rob, you ever see
Yeah.
you ever hear, like, in boxing? I'm so glad you used that boxing reference, right? you ever see like hear like those little stories like from those backwater towns that they say, yeah, man, Junebug, he slipped and fell and he ain't been the same since.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Now he's the uncle at the party where you're like, oh man, Junebug's here.
That's the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Damn, yeah. They took that ass with a name been right since.
Yeah. Yep.
Man,
yeah.
Oh man.
But it's true.
It's true.
And what does that say though? Like, here's the thing. Everybody gets their ass kicked sometimes.
And it makes it worse.
Say about you?
And it makes it so much worse that they got their ass beat by somebody named Debo.
Yeah.
It makes it that much worse.
All right, let me give you 2 examples along those lines. So the Niners during the season went through a 3-game stretch in which they lost 3 straight. Okay. It was right around the middle of the year, and they lost to Cleveland, Minnesota, and Cincinnati at home. Okay. They lost 3 straight. Yet they respond the next week, well, after a bye week, with a 34-3 beatdown of Jacksonville. And they go on to win, at that point, 6 straight themselves. Okay? 7 to last 8. You can even forget yesterday's game because they weren't playing anybody. Probably would have won that had they tried. So they would have ended up winning 8 of their last 9. That's how they responded. I'll give you one other example. And this one, I think, hits very close with the Eagles. Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills started the season off at 6-6 when they lost to the Eagles in overtime. They had fired Ken Dorsey. There was questions about Sean McDermott. You and I had Mike Catalana on here from the ABC affiliate in Buffalo, and we're asking about Sean McDermott's future. So how does Buffalo respond to that, being 6-6 at that point in their season? So they reel off, Tone, to close the season, 5 straight wins. They beat Kansas City, they beat Dallas, they beat the Chargers, they beat New England, they beat Miami last night. So they not only do they dig themselves out of that thing, they end up being the 2 seed and winning their division, the AFC East, which it looked like they had no chance to win. That's what teams with character do. The Eagles this year laid down. They got in the fetal position and just said, okay, I'm done. I'm not fighting. You win. And I can't believe that. I really can't. You're muted. You're muted.
People were questioning McDermott's job. People were questioning if McDermott had a handle on this team. And that's a clear indication. There are two parallels happening. Sean McDermott and Nick Sirianni. One started off low, one started off high. And now all of a sudden, the scales have shifted. And you're seeing a guy in McDermott who legitimately has the pulse of his team. Did not lose his team, made the right decision to move him from Ken Dorsey, made a calculated move, a move that we all pretty much thought was coming. But they didn't keep him in the building. They just cut ties and moved on and let the chips fall where they may. The Eagles, they part ways with Desai. He's still in the building.
Yep.
They make the decision super late.
Yep.
At least I respect the Bills for making the decision when they made it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When they made it. You know, timing is everything in life. And the Eagles have exercised poor timing, poor execution. They miscalculated a lot this season. And they're literally, quite literally, having to face the music right now.
You're right. Listen, man, you're right. And they are well, are they or aren't they? In other words, they're facing our music. In other words, we're being critical of them. But are they actually are they looking in the mirror and facing the music and understanding how they got here? I think that's something that also is going to be really interesting to me. Like, I wonder if they don't look back at the Brian Johnson thing. And I don't know. See, what I would really like to know is the dynamic between he and Jalen. I'll jump over to the defense in a second, but I think I wonder if he's not too buddy. Like, Steichen was willing to coach him up hard. Go back to Doug Peterson. John DeFilippo was all up in Carson Wentz, okay, all the time. And when he left, I think it got softer on Carson. I don't know that that's happening specifically with Johnson, but I wonder if it is. And I wonder if that's part of the regression. Then you go to the other side of this thing. What was the plan there? Why was Patricia there? Did you not trust yourself enough with Desai? That whole thing is weird to me. But
they hedged their bet early, didn't they? Early. The moment Matt Patricia was hired, everybody, I can't think of any talking head that didn't bring it up. You know, you bring him in, and it's like, are you hedging your bet, Howie Roseman? Are you not fully confident in Sean Desai? It looked fishy from the beginning, and lo and behold, that fish stunk, and we knew it. But we ignored it because they were winning. So now, you said something interesting. Looking in the mirror and knowing where things went wrong. Well, I think they know. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, all we can do is speculate. But I think they know exactly where things went wrong. I think they know where it went wrong, when it went wrong, how it went wrong, what went wrong, who's responsible for why it went wrong. I think they know all those answers. Now, the question becomes, are they going to be honest with themselves, or are they going to lie to themselves and convince themselves, that's not why? They know why. They know what happened. But will they be honest with themselves? Will they keep it real to the point where they're able to make the necessary changes and not lie? We talk about this all the time with organizations, right? Miscalculating or misevaluating where they are in their rebuilding process, right? You win a couple games, all of a sudden you think maybe we're better than what we are. Nah, that's not the case. You got to be patient. Philadelphia Eagles, you got to be honest with yourself. Where are you really? What is this coaching staff really, right? What's the personnel on defense really? As a GM, as an owner, who are we really? Did we approve the right decisions that we made, right? Did we put the right people in position to succeed? What are we doing to hold this team back, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has to be honest with themselves, even when they know the answers. Because just because you know what went wrong doesn't mean you believe it.
From the owner to Howie to Don Smolenski to Alec Hallaby to the analytics department to every freaking one. When you have an historic collapse like this, It's on all of you, man. It's not on one person. It's on every single one of you. And you all better be searching, self-reflecting for answers. You got to be, man. If you're not, you're going to fall into prey to the same stuff that has been happening. Yeah, look, is there anybody who has faith in this game on Monday? I don't.
Oh man.
I don't, man. I'm telling you, I don't. I don't think. I think they have when you've lost to the Giants and the Cardinals in the last two games and barely beat the Giants the week before. Tampa's a big step up from those two teams, even though they're not very good, but they're a big step up from those two teams. I don't see any urgency with this Eagles team, and I don't buy the flip a switch thing. I'm sorry. You're going to hear a lot of that. You're going to hear a lot of 0-0. Like I said, I'm not buying any of it. Not a bit.
You said, is there anybody buying this team in the playoffs, or does anyone have any confidence? Right? That's what you asked.
Yeah.
Does a bear use a bidet?
No, it does not. Bear goes wherever it wants, especially in the woods, and does not care. All right, let's get one in, and we're going to look at the AFC and NFC wild card matchups, Tone. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What coaches are already out? What GMs are already out? Who might go where? A lot of speculation about a guy who's coaching tonight in Jim Harbaugh in the national championship. We'll get into all of those things when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Tone DeShields, Rob Ellis, Sports Take on this Monday. I'm telling you about Flynn Tree Services right now. They are an insured, experienced Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face, and they are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. You could go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give them a call right now, 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flyntreeservices.com. That's flyntreeservices.com.